Alrighty there, Osses. So before we get into the really awesome tools, what I want to do is I just want to go over some really basic Linux commands related to networking. So not all the other Linux commands like changing directories and stuff, specifically a tool called Ifconfig. Now this is a tool that lets you view and configure your network interfaces. In other words, all the cards that allow you to get online on the internet. Now I'm going to hit enter and I'll talk to you guys about the setup I'm on right now. So I'm on pretty much just like a normal laptop and I'm in my back room and I have an Ethernet cable plugged into the side. So that's one way it's hooking up to the internet. And this laptop, it also came with a wireless card, but it was kind of crappy. So I bought another one, the one I showed you in the last video off of Amazon. So now that you guys know about this, you can probably understand a little bit more clearly what you're looking at. So all of the devices, hold on. How come I always cough during my tutorials? I never cough, and then as soon as I start filming, immediately get whooping cough. It's weird. But anyways, you can see the names of the devices on the left. So this is my Ethernet. That's where it's plugged into, and a little more information about each card is on the right-hand side. This one right here is not an actual interface or not a physical interface in the sense that you can't hold it in your hand. It's a loopback interface, and this is just saying that whenever you type in 127.0.0.1, then it's your own computer. It's a local host. So if you guys, try to open your computer and try to look for this, you're not going to find it. This one, like I said, this is the one that was pre-installed, came with my laptop, and this is the good one. So that's the one that we're going to be using for most of this tutorial, and all of these other interfaces we really aren't going to worry about. Another thing I want to mention is whenever you're looking at this information, you really are only going to probably need these top 4 lines right here. These bottom 4, I don't want to say that they're not important, but you really don't use them that much. This top 4 lines of info, this is where all your MAC addresses and your IP address. You can see if your card is up or down, and I'll talk to you guys in detail about what that means later on, but there you go. Now let me clear out of here, and another thing I want to show you guys is this. So what we just looked at is ifconfig. There's also an optional parameter called ifconfig. So ifconfig, the normal one that we saw before, it's going to show you all your active interfaces. Now if you throw that -a in there, it's going to show you your interfaces whether they're active or not. So if you know you have a card but you can't see it, that's because it's not active and you need that -a. Mine's the exact same because all my interfaces are active, but just want to mention that in case you guys have any trouble. Now, you saw whenever I typed ifconfig, then it listed all my interfaces. However, during these tutorials, like I said, we really don't care about most of those. So what I'm going to be doing is something like this, ifconfig Wlan1. So if you run this command, then it just helps clean up the clutter and it only shows you information about Wlan1, which is the main wireless card that we're going to be using. Now, if you ever just want to bring an interface up or down, and that means whenever you're bringing an interface up, it means that it's enabled. In other words, it can now send and receive info and get online, pretty much. So if I type ifconfig, you can see that these are all up right now. So you can tell by this keyword right here, if you see up, then it's up, it's working, it's enabled. If you ever want to bring one down for any reason, let's say we want to disable this Ethernet, then what we can do is ifconfig I say etho, but it's actually eth0 down. And now if I do ifconfig again, you can see that
Boa noite, que a bênção de Deus Pai, de Deus Filho, de Deus Espírito Santo seja contigo e com toda a tua família. Que o Senhor Jesus Cristo esteja à nossa frente, na nossa retaguarda, à nossa direita e à nossa esquerda. E que o sangue de Jesus cubra a nossa vida e cubra toda a nossa casa. Uma boa noite a todos vocês. Estamos declarando portas abertas. É uma campanha, um propósito. 33 dias orando para que Deus ele abra portas em nossa vida. Esses dias uma irmã, ela ouviu o barulho de uma fechadura enquanto nós estávamos na oração das 18 horas. Aliás, das 6 da manhã. E esses dias, desde o início, eu tenho visto muitas portas. Vi portas de ouro, vi portas se abrindo, vi portas brancas. Durante essas orações, Deus tem nos dado vários sinais de que Ele está operando. Vários sinais de que o poder de Deus está sendo liberado e que portas verdadeiramente já começaram a se abrir. Por isso, meu amado, você pode tomar posse e crer que esse propósito que nós estamos está valendo a pena e Deus está operando. Eu creio nos milagres. Eu creio na operação de Deus. Inclusive, há alguém que está aí ao vivo, está com dores aqui, ó, bem aqui nessa região. Muitas dores, não pode nem tocar de tantas dores que está aqui nessa região. O Senhor vai te curar. Seja você quem for que está com dores aqui no peito, de um lado ou outro, eu creio isso ser dores musculares. O Senhor vai curar a tua vida. Há uma pessoa também aí que está sentindo pontadas no peito. Ela sente como se fosse alguém cravando algo no peito dela, e ela sente isso várias vezes no dia. Nós vamos orar também por você, para que Deus opere na tua vida, para que o Espírito de Deus, Ele guarde você e para que o Senhor te livre de todo mal. Também eu quero falar sobre a importância de você buscar uma libertação para a sua vida. Você sabe que há coisas que prendem a vida das pessoas, há coisas que amarram pessoas, há situações que amarram pessoas, há lugares que amarram pessoas. E esses lugares que amarram a vida de pessoas e até mesmo pecados, laços que amarram, que prendem, isso impede, bloqueia a pessoa de ouvir a voz de Deus. Por isso, você tem que buscar uma libertação na sua vida. Exatamente, eu estou hoje ministrando da necessidade de você ser liberto. Não pode haver na sua vida